And welcome to The Source on the internet.
The internet, or on YouTube, or podcast, or whatever you guys got going on.
My name is Andrew Miller.
My name is Aaron McWhorter.
And today we did our first on-air broadcast after hearing the news that Aaron and I would no longer be on WFSC Mankato Radio or Edinburgh University's radio station, which is not licensed, just to throw that out there.
Yeah, so...
But we are on the radio now, and, well, the internet radio. And we have a few talking points, because we did confront our general manager and program director and said that we wanted a formal written reason for why we've been kicked off the air as of Friday. So hopefully we'll get that promptly, and then we can read it. And
only be professional, right?
It would be professional.
The professional thing to do, seeing as how they should show us, because we don't know what that means.
Absolutely. And just to get this kicked off, I wanted to tell everyone listening out there that it was not SGA that kicked us off the air.
No, it was not SGA.
It was the fear of SGA which got us kicked off the air.
Correct.
And Aaron, would you explain a little bit about the invisible gun?
The invisible gun theory is actually one that was brought up to me by a fellow YouTuber, and I will link the video if that's okay with us here. Fine with you. Okay,
There's no rules on the underground.
Yeah, good point. So we're gonna link that video right over here. When see, you can just point to it right there. Just go there in the sidebar, click to it. It'll say invisible gun, and one of my friends on YouTube, a fellow free thinker, and just happens to be an objectivist himself, will tell you what the invisible gun means, and what it basically is the fear of backlash if you don't do what you're supposed to do. So it's kind of like, oh, well, they didn't really do it to you, but if you don't do what you're supposed to do, you know they'll come and get you.
Or we're afraid that the student government is going to freeze our account or cut our funding, so therefore we're just going to cut you guys off the air so that way nothing happens that's bad.
So technically it wasn't student government, but it was the fear of them.
Yes.
And we understand not everyone in student government is bad. We're not saying that. We're not painting them with the same brush. All we're saying is that it's the fear of a government force. And that video it's about 9 minutes long, aptly explains everything. It's really good. I highly, highly recommend viewing it.
Now, the other thing I wanted to talk about today on our podcast, our second podcast for The Source Underground, is the Peterson Principle. I'm sorry, the Peter Principle. And what the Peter Principle is, it's kind of a joke principle, but I just thought this would be important to mention, because it seems like a lot of people encounter this in their day-to-day life, and if anyone would like to agree with this, post a comment down there, and we'll hear what you have to say about it. But tell me if you guys think this is cool or not. So, the Peter Principle is the principle that in a hierarchy, every employee tends to rise to his level of incompetence. It holds that in a hierarchy, members are promoted so long as they work competently. Sooner or later, they are promoted to a position at which they are no longer competent, their level of incompetence. And there they remain. And there is where they dictate orders and try and manage a situation. Or in our case, kick people off the radio.
Just fire us off the air and just not even actually talk to us as to why we're doing it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think that aptly describes what just happened to us.
So let us know what you think about that.
Make a video response.
Absolutely.
If you want. We actually believe in free speech.
Mm-hmm.
There is no, we have to okay this, we have to okay a text comment. You post whatever you want down here.
Agreed.
And I don't care if it's you guys suck, this or that. The only thing that, I mean, this is my personal account here. If you comment on someone else personally that is not Andy or I, we don't like that, because I mean, we do have the right to censor and we don't like doing it, but if you are saying negative things about a person on here, not their views, but attacking them personally just because they made a comment, we may or may not allow that.
We support free speech, but we don't support harassment or slander. So just play it safe. The other thing we wanted to talk
about us. Say anything you want.
Yeah, sure.
Anything you want is fair game. We will not censor anything you say about us.
Good, bad, ugly. Yep. Now, the last thing we wanted to bring up today is another theory, sort of like the Peter Principle, and it's called the public choice theory. Aaron, can you explain just a little bit about this?
Sure. The public choice theory is basically saying that a entity such as government or student government will work whatever system they're in order to maintain their power. Public choice theory. And basically what it's saying is that anytime there is a problem with any other public thing like a university program or something, they will work their best way to manipulate it into maintain the status quo. Yep. And I think we're seeing that happen right now as well. And if you want, I'll put a link in the video on the sidebar as well as to the, I guess we could, thank you, the Wikipedia article about public choice theory.
Sure.
But it talks about exactly what it is. It's basically perpetuating itself by the status quo.
And certainly it's not the Student Government Association which is practicing this public choice theory, but rather the WFSE Mankato Radio and the university at large. And I'd say it's endemic throughout all of America. And that brings me to another point that I wanted to raise, which was the social dominance theory, where there are certain hierarchical structures set up inside our society throughout the university system, whether it be with your friends, through residence life, through the WFSC. The social dominance is a setup of hierarchy where there's always going to be people on top of each other. Now, the question is, how do we break down some of this dominance and get to the top and be able to have the voice of the students truly heard, or good programming left on the radio?
And that's the problem, because when you try to raise awareness, but you're being censored through the media, if you can't raise awareness, how are you going to raise awareness? It's kind of it's a double-edged sword thing.
Yes.
They want us to talk, but not talk about bad things. Or when we do talk about things that are, I don't know, a problem, I guess, or, ooh, that's kind of controversial. They don't want us to talk about it, and I don't know how we're supposed to do that.
Aaron and I are not going to stop in our fight to get back on the radio, because we got kicked off for the wrong reason, and if you want to find out why we got kicked off, check out our other video. It's called Underground 1. We give pretty much the entire story there. So we're not going to stop in our fight to get back on the air. We've got a lot of support here at Edinboro, and we've taken a couple different steps. Phase 1, you could say, is through Facebook and YouTube. You are watching Phase 1 of our fight to get back on the air. Phase 2 is press releases throughout all of the Edinboro media, throughout Erie, Pittsburgh, whatever we can get our hands on. Next is flyers, and the third phase essentially is going to organizations such as FIRE and petitioning to get our show back on the air. But we need to do this all in a very short amount of time. We have until Friday. That is when we can make a big impact. And that's why we are asking you, the viewer, to call into our show as much as you can this week to express how much you are upset, happy, what have you, that we are getting kicked off the air.
Or if you're glad we got kicked off the air, call in. You're mad, call in. You don't know what's going on,
you're offended, call in.
Call in. We're not going to censor anyone. The only thing is we have to play by the FCC rules.
Yes.
And if you do call in, please try not to swear.
Or harass, or slander.
But if you want to say, I think this is crap, or I'm so glad you guys got kicked off the air, go ahead.
Call us.
Fine. We will not stop you from saying anything you want.
The number is 814-732-2889, and we are every day this week from 6:15 to 7 p.m., right after the nightly news feed. So please, please, please give us a call. We want to hear your voice. We want to let Edinboro know that we need to stay on the radio. And also, if you're listening at home, the station is 88.9. WFSE Mankato Radio. However, Aaron and I are endorsing that no one listen to 88.9 after this Friday, simply because they support stifling the freedom of speech.
And it's bad, because there are people at the station that we do like, and we've actually talked to a few of them, and we talked about this kind of a boycott thing, and they said, no, that's the right thing to do.
Our argument goes beyond this dismissal over professionalism. This is about freedom of speech, and they knew it from the beginning. Otherwise, they wouldn't have contrived such a horrible, lame excuse to kick us off the air.
And we have still asked, and we have not gotten yet, like you said,
a written
response detailing why we were kicked off the air. And once we get that, we'll share it with you, and we'll use it the best we can to try to get our show back and try to show that they kicked us off the air for the wrong reasons.
So please, call in 2889, 814-732-2889 every day, 6:15 to 7 p.m. on 88.9 WFSE Mankato Radio. You can hear us, listen in.
And check the links over here. Go to all those, check them out. Yeah, see, he can just point right there. Check them out, read them, go to the channels that are there. They're really good channels.
Yeah, absolutely. And with that being said, Aaron,
Andy,
it's been a pleasure.
As always.